Hello, Abigail here with a wax reading. We're going to be going into, how you're going to meet this person, some signs and symbols that are going to show up around the time that they enter into your life. We'll look into if they are a person you have known in the past or if they are new. As always, use your own intuition and your own guidance if, as to what is yours to keep and what is not yours. I kind of look for about 60-40 when it comes to love reading. So if 60% resonates, then this is for you. And you leave the 40% because this is a general reading. We are going to look into kind of a little check-in to see if this reading is for you. Just a kind of an extra layer for you to kind of know if this applies to you in the time of your life. I also want to say, like, love readings are wonderful and I really enjoy them, but just remember that timing difference is different based on who you are and where you are, and also how active you are in participating with the energies around this reading. So, like, you do have to, like, if you listen to this love reading and you don't, like, go out and open yourself up to love, there's a slim chance that that'll happen. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's clear, but just like you have to participate with the energy in order for things to happen. Um, so, start manifesting. I really enjoy using love readings and money readings to use them as like a manifesting frequency. No, not everything applies, but it helps put me in the frame of mind to be open to the topic I'm listening on. So if it's love, the future, career, money, finances. I find these types of readings are really good frequency aligner and also, really nice to kind of keep hope going if we're struggling. So, you know, some of this stuff is absolutely going to apply specifically to some of you, but some of it is also just to kind of help you align your frequency to the energy, especially in this case, of love. Anyways, let's get into who this reading is for. Oh, I love this. Four of Wands. One of my favorite things to draw when I pull about love is the Four of Wands, especially as a Taurus myself. It's just that safety and that passionate connection. Oh my gosh. So, this doesn't really feel like it's about specifically what you're experiencing now, but it's very much about the people who are engaging in this reading, like being very soon about to, because we have the Ace of Wands kind of in, as we move forward, you are beginning this journey into finding love. And this is where the kind of like the alignment part comes in. But if this reading is for people who want specifically something long term, and with this card and with the myth associated with it, specifically a wedding. So, like, if you specifically want to get married, this reading is for you. And if you don't, you can still listen to this. But this is specifically for folks, especially with the Ten of Coins, who are looking to build a legacy, for whom passion and love is really important, but so are things like stability, consistency, connection, care, having kind of um, joint bank accounts, investing in stuff together, specifically people who want to start a family. Now, to be clear, like, your family might have fur babies in it. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to want children, but there's an idea for this group of people who want to build a beautiful, rich future. And these cards are also affirming that that is going to happen. So this is very exciting. I'm going to pull three more, but this reading is for those who are marriage minded. And also, it feels like this is for a group who is very focused and direct when it comes to dating. Like, you have your list of ideas and things that you want, and you're not going to settle for anything less. Yeah, and right as I said, not settle for anything less. And this is a message that's been coming through in several of my readings. You do, however, need to be open, not in the sense of like for settling, but you do need to be open in how it happens. It doesn't necessarily, you need to keep your standards absolutely with the Empress. You need to, like, absolutely be like, no, these are what I want. I want someone who has this kind of job. I want someone who, has been to therapy maybe. I want someone who, knows for sure that they want to have a family, or already has a pet, or, just this is just a very set of like certain particular ideals, doesn't matter what they are. With the Page of Swords, you do need to be open. And I love how the cards do this. I'm like, show me that this is an aligned pile. And it's like, no, I'm going to give you advice. You do need to be open to how it happens. However, if you have really firm standards, if you have a criteria for dating, and also if you're like not down to kind of dilly dally with people to kind of see where it goes, even if your energies are not feeling fully aligned, this is for you. We're going to pull one last kind of alignment card. Knight of Cups. Yeah. You're also looking, this group is a romance group. You want, all of the physical stuff is absolutely there and needed, but you also want romance and emotional connection. You don't want like dry energy. You don't want someone who is too cut and dried, which I think leads to a lot of you being told by people that your standards are unrealistic. And I'm here to tell you they're not. They're just very specific. And we'll dig into this into the wax reading, but just remember that if you have specific requirements, and I find that people with really specific requirements have a very specific karmic tie that they're trying to finish. If you have really specific requirements, it does take more time to meet your person. Obviously, like I say in all of my readings, people generally find me at 3 different spaces, beginning, middle, and end. So it is up to you to know where you are on your journey with this, whether you're at the beginning of this, whether you're kind of in the middle where you're still working out some of your requirements, or if you're at the end and you're like, I absolutely know what I want. I've been waiting for a long time, or I've had a bunch of relationships not work out because we didn't have the same values. And this time you're like, we're not playing around. Yeah. This group is very much no shilly shallying, no playing around. The only kind of warning from spirit is to make sure that you're okay with the unusualness of this connection, and how it plays out in the meeting is going to be a bit quirky and odd. But like the requirements and everything else are very kind of stability, tradition focused. And I want to be clear, like, you're like, oh, gross, Abigail, tradition. It's more tradition in the sense that you want a certain level of stability. Also, feminism is the ability to choose the life that you want. So you could maybe want a traditional relationship in the sense that you would like marriage, but you're absolutely not down for unequal division of labor or something like that. So don't don't say don't say what I'm not saying. Um, but yeah, so if you feel aligned with this, if you feel like you have these really set, purposeful ideals, and if you are really looking for a very specific connection and you are not going to, back down or waver on this, then this pile is for you, or rather, this reading is for you. I'm going to put away these cards. I'm going to get the water out and prepare it and get the candle ready, and then we will jump into the guidance from the wax. Hello, my lovely folks. This is your wax reading. We're going to jump into it. This is all about love. And let me tell myself. Yeah, so as we kind of settle into this reading, clear your mind. I would suggest clearing it of any specific person because you never know what the universe has in store for you. Oh, that was interesting. So, with that little light going out and I mentioned a different person, I'm just going to say this. If you are thinking of a specific someone, I do not think that that person is the one. Because what I'm already getting from the wax is like your next person is going to be very sure about you, and it's not necessarily going to take that long for you guys to kind of come to an agreement about the future you want. And I'm kind of getting the vibe that this person hasn't quite made their intentions clear, or they aren't very clear about the future, and that's just not the vibe of this reading. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see. Starting off with the wax. Oh, settling in. Okay, so we're starting off with this really beautiful flower with lovely leaves kind of blossoming off of it. Your person is going to be mature. They are going to be someone who has done a lot of blossoming and growth. They are going to have a really, look how big this flame is. They're going to have a really kind of mature outlook on life. Doesn't mean that they're like a stick in the mud or like, aren't exciting or fun. It's just that like they have already been through their youth in a sense. So this is someone who I would say is above 30 at least. They're definitely past their Saturn return. If you are super young, take this with a grain of salt, and recognize that, like, uh, I wouldn't suggest a huge age gap as an astrologer specifically. So if older than 30 doesn't apply to you, don't accept it. Um, we also have a little dino here, which is really cute. I don't know the name, but he looks like the dinosaur. I'm gonna get people. Anyone who plays Mario Kart is gonna hate me. Is there a dinosaur in Mario Kart? But there's a dinosaur here, and it feels as though this is a really, really long, old, standing karmic connection. Not in the sense of like learning a lesson, karmic connection, just kind of, I'm using that as a general term, as like someone you have had past lives with, but someone who is ready now to complete the original contract that you had and do the thing that you have been waiting to do with them for a long time. It feels like you guys have kind of been, the phrase ships passing in the night is coming, where like in multiple lifetimes you have almost connected and done the thing you need to do. I think specifically for many of you, this past life agreement is to have a family together, is to have children or create a home. There's some sense of you needing to create something together as a couple. And, this relationship is very much about building a future. I'm kind of getting the image here. Let me see, in the wax of like a tree, and trees are always about lineage and growth and expansion, ancestry. You are meant to have descendants together is really clear. So definitely feeling like children are involved. Don't necessarily have to be your children by blood. Just heads up. We're also getting a turtle. There is an element of stability and wisdom when it comes to your future partner and how they move. This is a genderless reading. It doesn't matter, femme, mask, male, female, whatever, man, woman. So, there's an element here of wisdom. We're also getting this kind of like pulling here in the middle. You guys are going to be bringing your resources together. And also, I'm getting a really lovely sense here that regardless of who makes more, there's never a thing of like one person feels bad or guilty for needing help and assistance, or one person doesn't feel like they're a burden to the other, because this is such a close knit, connected partnership. um, I also feel, because of this candle and the way it's kind of this really deep blue in the middle, that blue is going to be a very important color when it comes to a sign about meeting them. You're going to be seeing a lot of blue t-shirts or blue signs or blue lettering. You might even feel the need to wear blue. If you want to manifest and bring this in, I would suggest wearing blue as a way to kind of call in this energy. But yeah, there's just a real sense of um, connection and love here and desire, but also this kind of cool, um, stable safety that is a really great activation point for passion and love and connection. Because, you can have excitement without trauma, which I think a lot of us have to learn. But yeah, I'm also sensing it looks like some kind of pendant or brooch over in here. There is an element of both of you kind of claiming each other, both of you giving the other one beautiful gifts. It feels like jewelry on both sides is really important. Like both of you, regardless of gender, wear jewelry and bracelets and necklaces and rings, and it's something that you guys like to participate in. It also feels like when you do go pick out the rings together, this is a person who isn't just like hemming and hawing, like, oh, we're picking out rings for this person. I also wonder, and this might be something to consider regardless of the gender of you and your partner, but it feels like you are both going to buy engagement rings, that you are both going to get an engagement ring for the other person, and it because your relationship even if it is kind of a cis het relationship, a cisgendered heterosexual relationship, there is a sense of like both of you participating. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Do you see this? There is this like little seal over here and another seal, and they're bumping noses. Actually, that's not a seal. Oh, that's a dog. So there's a seal and a dog. You guys are going to have very different backgrounds. So, because we have two different species, there's a good chance that one of you is from a different country or a different culture than the other. Um, but it doesn't matter because you are so connected. I do think there might be a language barrier, not in the sense that neither of you speak the same language, but for one of you, the other one's language is not your primary language. Um, like I said, this is for a select few. I think the main theme I'm getting is very different cultures. And also, I'm kind of seeing an ocean. So, this is a country maybe across an ocean for you. So, even not even a connecting country, but like across the world, or, you know, depending on where you are, hop, skip, and a jump over certain places and lands. Um, but yeah, we're also getting a key here. There is a really big turning point before you meet them. Something really shifts in your life before this person shows up. And it's not necessarily you doing more work, it's just like something happens that kind of shifts the trajectory that puts you both in the path of the other person. And this doesn't have to be immediate. It could be, I would say, it could be as far out as a year. Like maybe you move to a new place or you switch jobs, and we know when you do meet them, you're like, oh, if I hadn't moved or if I hadn't switched jobs, we would not have met. But it can be any life event that kind of puts you in a different environment. Um, so yeah, I am tempted to ask when because I do like some timing. Um, Give me a second to see if they'll give me a number. And we can also see if this is someone you have previously met. But let's see, are we going to give me a number? No, they're not really giving me any type of timeline. Oh, wait, there we go. 4. Okay. So I'm not really getting weeks necessarily, but 4 months for, you know, yeah. So kind of 4 months. For some of you, I am feeling 4 years, but I would specifically say this is for um, folks who are kind of at the beginning of their relational journey who aren't quite sure what they want yet and maybe need to like have other experiences before they meet this person. If you have learned a lot in relationships, the 4 years doesn't apply to you. If you've like been through it and you're like, no, I know what I want, it's more like within 4 months. Um, and I'm getting also that if a major event hasn't occurred yet, it is 4 months from said event. So from a move, from a different job, from a trip. So just keep that in mind because this is a pretty broad general reading. So it applies to apply to a lot of people. We have a rooster here. There is an element of bravery and connection. There is protection involved. This person is very protective of you. They also love to sing your praises. They love to talk about you and show you to their friends and share you online, I'm hearing. If you meet a person and they're not thrilled to like hype you up and they're not like instantly telling everyone about you, it's not the one. I can just tell you that right now. They're not it. Um, as far as whether this is someone that you currently know, and this can be like someone you knew a long time ago that hasn't been in your life for a while, I am getting very fresh new energy, so I don't think this is someone you know. And kind of like I said at the beginning, if you have someone in mind, that's definitely not them. That candle was like, nope, no, no, no. We do have almost like an old Nessie here. This relationship is going to be mystical. It is going to be one of those types of relationships that while not everyone gets to kind of have access and like see your personal life, the people who do are going to be like, this is crazy. How did you find each other? How can I find you? How did you get this mythical connection with someone? Because this is unheard of in this day and age. Also, it's giving like the way that you met, and this is something that came through the beginning, the way that you met is really unconventional. And people are like, when you tell people how you met, people are like, oh, there's no way I can manufacture that meeting. So it's like it's not on a dating app. Or if it is on a dating app, there's some really crazy like events that happen. Um, it's definitely giving for most of this group kind of a weird meeting in person where like you meet them and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll never see them again. And then one or both of you is like, you know what, I don't really want to leave this up to chance, and you connect with each other or the universe because you don't do what you're supposed to do, shoves you together. Um, but yeah, it's just really beautiful. Also, we have like a small child and like an adult holding their hand here and dancing around. This is also going to be someone who has the same vision for the future as you. This is someone who loves small animals and small humans and like really respects them and sees them as valuable and important. Um, we also have a goldfish, which is a symbol of like abundance and wealth and excess. You are both going to bring in and bring abundance into the other person's life in a way they never had before. For instance, if one of you has always had a lot of money and a lot of financial abundance, but not a whole lot of emotional and like love in their life, the other partner is going to bring that love and that emotion, and vice versa. If you haven't had a lot of financial success or money in your life and your partner has it, they are bringing that into your life for you. And neither of you feels like a negative way about what the other one brings. You value it. There's equality. Money is not a topic I'm getting that you fight a lot about at all. You're very aligned and attuned and very respectful of the other person. We have a figure here sitting. It looks like a mermaid on a rock, kind of going back to the mystical quality of this energy. I also think that the ocean and the sea is going to be very important to both of you. It feels like both of you have a connection to water, whether it be a place that you grew up as a child, or like a favorite grandparent's home, or a trip that was really meaningful to you. Both of you have a really strong pull to the ocean, and you both love to go to different beaches and places, and not necessarily all like sunny tropical beaches. This can also include, kind of more northern, rockier beaches as well. But yeah, there's a deep connection to water. Also, this person could very well be a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I'm specifically getting they might be a water Mars, which is interesting. So Scorpio Mars, Cancer Mars, or a Pisces Mars. Um, but yeah, a lot of water energy. Usually the color of the candle, it's not a mistake by the divine beings. Yeah, this person, so kind of to recap, this person is a very connected person, especially with, you know, when I say karmic, this is someone you've known before. So there's a sense of familiarity. It doesn't mean don't have to learn each other, but it does mean there's a sense of familiarity. There is some kind of four in the meeting. I also think one of the signs you're going to see as this comes closer is 444 or 4444. Any combination of four is going to be a sign that they are getting closer and closer to you. Um, we also have a dress here, a really like beautiful, luscious ball gown. You are going to go to nice places together. You are going to have reasons to celebrate. Both of you are going to really value like dressing well. And it's not necessarily a status thing, but you like to look good and you look good together. You're very proud of the other person in public. I just like got a whiff of like cologne or perfume. Both of you smell really good. Um, the hygiene is on point. The cologne selections are beautiful. Um, it's very nice. We do have a little bit of black wax in here. All relationships have grief and have upset, but in this kind of shape here, it definitely feels as though, because it is turning into a tree, it feels as though instead of tearing you apart, the difficulties of life bring you closer together and really show you why you picked this person, because not only are they there for you in hard times and vice versa, but they are also there for you in easy times. And, you know, it's not always easy to find, someone who can do both. A lot of people, they're really good in the rough times, or really good in the easy times, and there's not a whole lot of in between. But this beautiful kind of tree, almost it's almost kind of looking like a flower at this point, which we started off with a flower with leaves, is growing. Both of you are going to blossom emotionally, physically, spiritually in this connection, and it's important to really stick to what you want, because I get the sense that right before you meet them, you're going to meet a couple people that are possibilities, and but they're not quite. And so this is a sign that, like, wait until the right one, wait until you find the right blossom or bloom, because while another relationship may not be bad, it won't be this relationship. And you will then have to push that down the road until that relationship ends to reconnect with this person, or you might just have to wait for your next lifetime. So just be cautious. We also have like a little toddler here, which I think is really cute. It looks like they're playing an instrument of some kind. And so music is really important in your life and in the life of your family. Playing music, attending events with music, music lessons are really important. One or both of you might have a musical past, or something that, kind of like the ocean, where music is a really important facet of your life together. So, yeah, there's just this really sweet energy of, like, not only you and your partner sharing interests, but your children sharing interests, and everyone kind of being on board for the family vision, through music, through dance, through play, through fun. Um, yeah, there's just this entire reading has like a lovely sense of cohesion. We also have a heart here. Within the stability, there is also this ability to show and express love. Um, Neither of you is interested in allowing things to get stagnant. And so there's an element of you guys being really good at keeping things exciting, of trying new things, of communicating your needs. Um, we do have like a little couch here, a little chaise. Um, Definitely feels like one or both of you has been in therapy, and there is a willingness to do therapeutic work, even if one has not, which is going to be a sign that your person has either been in therapy or is like, oh, I'll absolutely get in therapy, if that is, a part of being in a relationship with someone that I love. You will not have to like drag this person to take care of their mental health. They will absolutely do it on their own. We have another figure of a child here, so I do think we're looking at more than one because they keep showing up. Probably your spirit babies. This one is like kicking something. So there's an element of sports being involved here. Also, just outdoor activity is a big deal. Getting out, having fun, doing things together as a family. You know, talking and listening to each other. Also, with like sports and music and stuff, like, you might have different interests, you and your partner, you and your children, etc. But there is an element of everyone being very down to kind of be interested in other people's interests. And that'll also be a sign that this is someone who doesn't just talk about themselves, doesn't just, oh, we have letters coming through. 1 second. WS. Let's see if we get anything else. We also are getting a 2 in here. So for some of you, the number 2 is really important. And I also think this is a sign that there's a very small percentage where this is going to happen real fast. So keep that in mind. It is a small subsection, so take it with a grain of salt, but it is happening much quicker. So 2 months, 2 weeks. I'm even hearing 2 days, but that's like a teeny tiny portion of this group. All right. Yeah, and then we have this kind of long chain of wax here. You guys are going to be together for a long time. If you want, you know, a sign that maybe this reading isn't for you is if you still feel like you need more experiences with other people, either emotionally or sexually, then this reading is probably on the 4-year timeline, and you should honor that to yourself. You don't need to like have this right away if it's not something you're quite ready for, or if you're younger, for sure. Let's see. I don't know if you hear my dog, but he's choking in the background. Are you okay? 1 second, let me check in on him. Sound very good. What did you do to yourself, Reg? Sorry about that. Well, he's pretty good, but he's gotten to mischief. Anyways, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm a little worried about it for a minute. We also have another seal here, but this time it's a very like one of those little chunky baby seals. You know, this person is also pretty laid back. Your old family is fairly laid back. Like, yes, you love to do things together. Yes, you like to have activities and fun, but there's also an element of like sunbathing on a rock, chilling together. And so a lot of the signs coming through for you is just a sense of comfort and safety. There is such a energy of alignment when it comes to values and future plans that are, it's almost as if you've already been communicating is what I'm hearing. It's like, oh, we've been talking. We have another little figure here. So many small figures. I also think this one is looking more like a cherub. There is a divine element of you meeting as if you're being guided. So definitely listen to your intuition. You know, if something comes up that's out of the ordinary, participate in it. If like you see an event that's a bit odd, but you feel called to go, or if you experience an inconvenience and it takes you out of your way, you know, it may or may not lead to something, but participate in it as if, you know, it could be. And also, it's really good practice for when it does happen that you're ready to kind of jump in, participate, you know, do stuff without knowing where it's happening and going. So we have a figure here that's kind of bent over and their back is turned. Um, there's kind of a sense of sadness. Both of you are going to be really capable of holding space for past trauma and past pain. You're going to be really supportive when the other one struggles. It doesn't feel as though your like desires and dreams are like, oh, we love exactly the same thing, but you're both really empathetic and understanding of the other person's struggles and interests and, you know, wins and failures in here. So there's just a huge element of alignment, which is really, really lovely. This reading's really nice. And the flame is really energizing, and it really gives the feeling of this being really a dream come true for you. And if you look as the wax is kind of moving in this circle, this is a full circle moment. This is a fulfillment of a huge dream for both of you. You have both been looking for the same thing and not finding it. And then when you meet your person, it just all comes together. And this is happening not only on a this life level, but on a past life level. You have also tried to do this with other folks before and it has not worked out. And you've kind of been waiting on each other to show up in order to be able to participate and to fulfill this dream together. Um, and you know, this ends up leaving us with this little portal. This is going to really help progress your soul and help move you forward spiritually, which I think is really lovely. Let me blow that out before I burn my fingies. Oh, beautiful smoke. So yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of really lovely messages here. I'm going to give the wax a second to dry a little bit so I can pick it up and look at it. But just overall, this connection is a long-term connection. This connection is with someone who cares. I think if it does take a little longer than expected, know that it is absolutely going to be worth it. It is absolutely going to be, um, you know, worth the wait and worth the loneliness and worth the suffering. I'm hearing if some of you had like relationships that you thought were the one fall apart, you know, it is going to be worth it to have then moved on and found this relationship. Oh, this is very sweet. We've got like a figure and another figure behind them, and it's like they're kind of encircling um, something. And so there is an element here of real deep, beautiful connection and care and protection. It feels like you are protected. It feels like you protect your children and the people that you love. It also feels like, I don't know if it's both of you, but one of you definitely has loving and caring family members who are supportive. I don't think it's both of you. I think it's an anomaly for one of you to have a loving family, but it does feel as though one of you has experienced familial stability, and it's a nice stabilizer for the relationship. Do we see anything else in the wax? There's a fishtail in here, and fishes are about abundance and growth. We've talked about how you guys are basically just gonna be a massive magnet for abundance and connection. But I also think, part of this is an energy shift on one or both of your parts, where you start to believe in your value and you start to believe that you deserve abundance. And that shift in mindset is also what's going to bring this person in, is that you believe that you deserve to have this connection. You deserve to have care. There's another fishtail up here as well. Also, this is a very emotionally deep connection. You may not believe the same things. You may not have the same way of emotionally processing, but there is an element of you always being able to come together and understand the other person in your own unique way, which I think is really lovely. Are there any other signs, any other messages? I don't think so. So, yeah, this is your reading. I hope it was helpful. To be honest, I can't even remember what the theme was at this point. I've kind of been swept along by the energy. But this is really one of the more beautiful readings I have done recently. I encourage you to be patient for this connection to show up, to be participating in the energy, to be doing your manifestations. I also am getting kind of a final message that like you will meet this person while pursuing your life. So don't put your life on hold in order to meet this person. Don't like stop participating in the world just because you're waiting for this person. They are going to find you while you do life. And they are going to find you in the midst of other connections and other stuff. Not necessarily romantic. I don't think you should I wouldn't suggest jumping into a relationship that you don't feel has this capability and this future. But you do need to like be going out and spending time outside and doing events and building friendships and connecting with people you care about, because all of this energy is going to bring in a relationship that has the same qualities. So be bold, believe, participate in the energy, and start to live the life that you think is going to bring in this kind of energy. And that includes working on your own abundance, doing your own abundance magic. Or if you're the person who's got money but not like as much relational love and care, then like bringing that relational love and care through other means in order to kind of create a beacon to call this person in, to bring this connection forward, to show the universe that you are indeed ready for it. Anyways, my loves, this is my reading for you. I really enjoyed doing this. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel to grow. Also, put any questions or comments or impressions down below. And if there is a specific topic you would like me to read on, let me know, and I will incorporate that into one of my future readings. Anyways, I love you all. I wish you all the best manifesting this wonderful person for you. Bye.